whatever made him make that decision to do that, it causes me to question his capacity to make decisions as a leader. Senator Longmore and Senator Hill, no matter how you want to spin it, Jamaicans deserve a prime minister whose declarations can stand up to scrutiny and certification. Our people deserve leadership that they can.
Blessings, ABR family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's a girl and Isabel Rose, and in this one, a big showdown in the House of Senate between government Senator Sapphire Longmore and the opposition Senator Gabriela Morris. Stay tuned for the details at hand. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Notification shout out goes to Major Daps. Big up yourself, Major Daps. Thanks for the continued support from each and every one. So, ABR family, I'm about to show you what went down today in the House of Senate, with the topic being knowing who we have at the helm of leadership. And the government senator spoke first in this debate, where she regurgitated a photo of Mark Golding releasing Big Stone from the shackles and chain that many of our people can attest to that they're under with this government. And she says, if that's the image that we want our leader to portray. Now, Gabriela Morris from the opposition side reminded her of the reality on the floor. And it would seem she is basically saying we would have someone pull us from the shackles and chain than the current reality of what the people are facing of this government, where only a handful continues to reap and to be richer, while the majority cannot afford a balanced meal. Morris also reminded her that we have a current leader whose statutory declaration still uncertified by the watchdog anti-corruption body Integrity Commission. But without further ado, I will allow you to listen to this debate, and I just took clippings from it, but you can go over to PBC to catch that full debate.
Mr. President, I have to thank the Prime Minister and team that has steered us through so many rough seas and rough waters. Mr. President, it is not just us who are appreciative of the Prime Minister. We see here, the Miami Herald, how Jamaica and its Prime Minister are becoming a mini superpower in the Caribbean. And this is true. Mr. Crawford, Senator Crawford, the theme of my presentation is know thyself. And I know Jamaica to be a superpower. We're little, but we're very tall. You're seeing Bob and so much more of our elements can say that. Even not Damian Crawford in my own way. All right? But Mr. President, and so yes, I have to thank the Prime Minister and his team for affording me yet another opportunity to be here serving in this way. Because we are here contemplating serious things this year. And I want for us to have a look at that image. Now, Mr. President, I am not here to critique, to say, talk about the mockery that was made. I'm not here to say that, look at the fact, this is not a color, skin color thing, no. Out of many, we are one people. But Mr. President, for me, it is the decision-making process of someone who is seeking the leadership of this country. My son is there. And when I was preparing this slide, I did not want him to see this. Because because I introduced it to him. I introduced it to him in the right way, because in my mind, the leader of the longest black democracy in Jamaica, in the world, should not have the possibility of that image being found. The possibility, whatever made him make that decision to do that, it causes me to question his capacity to make decisions as a leader. I am not talking about skin color. I'm not talking about the fact that, he was playing a skit to remove the shackles of the Gov't. No. This is the image that is embedded, that is there now for the world, for every generation. Can you imagine this now? We are going fully into being a republic. And this would be, or the possibility thereof, and this would be the image that we would have of our Prime Minister. No, no. That is not what I'm arguing, Mr. Senator Brown. My argument is the decision-making capacity of someone who already is established to have possible dual allegiancy, who is not clearly committed to Jamaica. Mr. President, in knowing ourselves, we must know who we have at the helm of leadership. And I want each and every one of you over there to look at that and without any form of explanation, relate to your children that that is your leader? No. What is wrong with it? Well, Floyd, I understand because you can't see it. And so, Mr. President, I have incited a response because I am hitting truth. I am hitting truth. I am not arguing about that. My argument is the decision to have been caught in such a compromising position. That is my argument. It is none of that. It is the fact that a leader, an aspirant to the office of leading this proud country could be caught in this position.
As I reflect on my journey, I'm reminded of the powerful words of Ralston, the poet. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Mr. President, too many Jamaicans' dreams have dried up. This is precisely why I'm so grateful for the privilege of representing the people of Northwest St. Anne as of October last year. And as I engage with persons across the constituency, I notice a troubling reality. Their hopes have withered under the weight of broken promises and unfulfilled potential. We see it in their eyes. The farmers, the youth yearning for more opportunities, the single mothers fighting to make ends meet, the elders who rely on a small pension to live with a little dignity in their golden years. And they ask, what about us? And Mr. President, I've walked with them. I've sat in their homes. I've listened to their stories. I carry their burdens in my heart sometimes because I wish I could do more. These are not just numbers on a voter's list. They're family. They're people who have adopted me as their daughter, their granddaughter. and I look forward to being their voice, their representative in this place. Mr. President, I've learned very quickly that representational politics is not about titles or prestige. It is about love, love for people, love for justice, love for the belief that together we can create a Jamaica where dreams are not deferred but fulfilled. Today I stand here resolute with the voices of the Jamaican people resounding in my heart to say that the time for deferral is over. The time for decisive action is now. For change is upon us. People time come. And I take a look at the faces of the people that I meet every day. Their dreams have been deferred. Not because they lack ambition or they don't want to achieve them, but because our systems and leaders lack vision and are still gambling with the political will to make real change on behalf of the masses of this country. That is the truth of our nation. We continue to wrestle with the legacies of our colonial past and the burdens of modern mismanagement and corruption. The legacies of colonialism are not just talking points. It is not just a concept. The legacies of colonialism are born out of every day in the Jamaican reality. It is seen in the decision-making of the government and has become particularly stark in the past 9 years. The weight of deferred dreams has become unbearable. It is our moral obligation to now lift it. Decolonization is about lifting that weight. It's not about petty arguments about who is what color. It is about lifting that weight and allowing the country to move towards true freedom as a people. It is about getting out from under low growth, low wage, low productivity, low hope, underemployed, under-resourced reality designed to benefit only a few. Mr. President, when the government speaks of recovery and prosperity, we have to ask, and I always ask, for whom? Because the figures tell a sobering story. Listen to this one, Senator Hill. Over the past 5 years, our economic growth has averaged just over 1% annually. Compare this with the aspirations of Vision 2030, which called for sustained growth of 5% per year to achieve a thriving and equitable society. These are not just numbers and economic jargon. When we go to the supermarkets and can't buy the things that we did a year ago with the same amount of money, when we have to choose one bill over the other, and last Christmas dinner they'd have it just regular, that is what a 3.2 contraction in the July to September quarter feels like. It is real. And this administration promised 5 in 4. Yes, we remember 5 in 4. 5% growth in 4 years. But today, up to today, we see no such transformation. Instead, Mr. President, what we have is concentrated wealth. The benefits of growth remain locked at the top, leaving too many Jamaicans behind. And even that is now contracting. What we have is a cost of living crisis. Rising prices for basic food items have forced our families to make impossible and even unhealthy food choices, Senator Longmore. What we have are stagnant wages. Wages have not kept pace with inflation, eroding the purchasing power of working Jamaicans. What we have is economic inequality, which is pervasive. The wealthiest of our population control more than 40% of our nation's wealth, while the poorest continue to struggle to survive. What we have is the job market that is stagnant. Youth unemployment continues to hover at 15%. However, many jobs are failing to provide a livable wage, or even our young people are struggling to find a job after investing so much in their education. You don't want to hear the truth, but I am going to talk it today because this is the state of our nation. What we have is our small farmers. They are struggling.
Mr. President, can you allow my perfect speaker to speak?
Because they don't want to hear the truth, Mr. President. Our small farmers, they are struggling. They are struggling. And the ice makers, they are suffering because we're importing ice. What we have is debt that still looms large. D-E-A-T-H, both of them. Mr. President, I took the time to listen to Senator Hill. Yes. And his attempt to wax lyrical in defense of his party's legacy. And as I listened, I couldn't help but cringe a little bit, because it was filled with so much blame shifting and rhetoric that seemed disconnected from the realities facing our nation. Senator Hill, like many Jamaicans, I'm tired of the blame game and the endless tit for tat. Corruption, as you outlined, is not a matter of political spin. It is a deeply rooted issue that threatens the very foundations of our democracy. It undermines trust in our institutions. It weakens our social fabric. It stalls our nation's progress. And the leader of the opposition, yes, he captured it perfectly. Corruption siphons resources from where they are needed most. It steals from our children's education. It deprives our hospitals of critical supplies and ensures that our roads remain broken. It widens inequality, diverting taxpayers' money to enrich a privileged few instead of benefiting the many. Let us be clear, corruption is not a new issue in Jamaica, but it remains persistent and pervasive, and eradicating it requires more than just lip service. It demands bold, uncompromising action. The Prime Minister himself, and you recall a 2017 video, eloquently emphasizing the importance of accountability. He declared that we cannot be serious about tackling corruption unless we are equally serious about identifying the who, those alleged or proven guilty of corrupt acts. And I want to urge the Prime Minister to stay on that lane, to reflect on his own words, and to act with the integrity those words demand. Senator Longmore and Senator Hill, no matter how you want to spin it, Jamaicans deserve a Prime Minister whose declarations can stand up to scrutiny and certification. Our people deserve leadership that they can trust. It is that simple. It is now time. Now, very soon, the people of this country will get a chance to decide their destiny for the next 5 years. And it is clear that people want change. They're tired of piecemeal policies handed out by the government to sweet up the electorate on the eve of an election. They're tired of empty promises. Yes, we haven't forgotten those promises of the first 100 days. That is the state of our nation, right here, right now. The Jamaican people deserve a real mix of fiscal discipline, economic development, productivity, social equity, and environmental sustainability. Today's debate provides an opportunity to take stock of our circumstances, to assess the impact of our policies, our initiatives, and our actions, and to chart a course for the future that will enable us to overcome the challenges that we face.